So, in 2025, you're wanting to maximize your church's social media. You want to reach more people, accomplish more. That's all of our goal, right? Especially being creative directors or social media managers, whatever you are at your church. And I think one thing that's super important is coming up with a content strategy. And I'm not just talking about like having something in your head, I'm talking about writing something out, getting all of your ideas down on paper, getting in Canva, making a little presentation, and sitting down with your leadership, sitting down with your pastor and going over, hey, these are my ideas for the social media, and get some clarity and direction from the leadership to make sure that you're aligning with what their vision is for social media. I think that's something that's super important because as creatives, sometimes, we're made to be creative. So we have ideas, we have lots of thoughts, we have a vision of how social media should go, but you want to make sure that you're sitting down with your pastor and you're talking through, this is my vision, this is what I'm feeling, or this is what I feel like God has given me for our social. But you want to make sure that you're submitted to the leadership. That way that you can run ideas by them and make sure that chain of command, like you're on the same page basically. Ultimately, the pastor is that shepherd, watchman on the wall that's going to know what's best for the whole church. So it's super important that you're making sure that the social media aligns with your church's mission and it's approved by your pastor. So to me, that's step one. But the next step is you want to sit down and you just want to do it. You want to type out your ideas, type out some goals for the year. And this is something that I just did recently. And so that's why it's on my mind. And I thought I would share it with you guys so that you guys could maybe take this idea and make it your own. But basically, I took some time to sit down and think about our current structure. So at my church, the way we have it structured is the overarching ministry is the production ministry. And within that ministry is the audio team. So that's sound and audio for different services. We have the lighting team, the media team, which is ProPresenter and lyrics. We have the live stream team. We have a photo team, and we have a video team. The photo and video team get content for social media. I just took some time out, sat down, thought about our current structure, went through each team individually, and wrote out, this is what we currently do. We have 4 cameras for the live stream, but only one of them is manned. The same person does the switcher, that kind of thing. Write out your current structure. Then, once you have all of that established, you can go through and start thinking about some goals that you want to accomplish for the year. You can even set out a future plan if you want to, but you want to start by at least having goals for this current year that you're in. And this is the perfect time to do it at the beginning of a new year. So think through all of your teams individually. What kind of goals do you want for this year? How much do you want to progress? What do you want to accomplish? Is there something that you want to add? Is there something that you want to change? Write down those goals. And this is a great time while you're creating this document to assess everything that you're doing within your creative teams. Make sure that you have welcome packets ready to go. Make sure that if you don't have an onboarding process, this is a great time to go through and be like, okay, what are some steps? What is the onboarding process for someone that's joining this team? You can go through and make sure that you have all the equipment that you need. And if there's something that you need to purchase, you can add that in. That way, when you present all of this to the pastor and your leadership team, you'll be able to give numbers, be able to say, hey, we need this lens if it's possible within the next few months, or if we need to wait, that's totally fine. But you need to have all of this detailed out. That way you can present a complete vision for your creative ministries. If you need to create welcome packets for all of your teams, this would be a great time to go in, set guidelines, write a code of conduct for all of your team members to be able to read and know what the code of conduct is. Write down your church's core values, your church's mission, and then make sure that you have a purpose statement for each creative team that aligns with the church's mission. I'm currently working on creating welcome packets for all of our teams, and I've already got a template created that I'm basing off of. So if you would be interested in checking out that template, just comment below and I could link that and give that to you as a resource for you to be able to edit and change for your teams, if you're interested. But it's super important, especially when you're bringing new people in, that you have step-by-step guides. So for example, in our live stream welcome packet, we have the purpose statement, our church's mission statement, we have a welcome letter from pastor, and then we have a complete guide on how to be a live stream team member, from the full setup process that's in written out step form with screenshots of what the programs are going to look like and how everything's going to pull up, what the systems are going to look like when they get in there. And then we also have guidelines and basically information on like how to frame the shots, what kind of shots to get for the live stream, a full how-to guide in a way. And this is super useful for when you bring people on board. You can literally hand them the binder with the welcome packet in it, and they already have so much information to get started with and feel like they halfway know what they're doing once they get started. And we also use like a shadowing process. So whenever I bring someone new on board for the live stream team, for example, I will pair them with another team member that's more experienced, and they will shadow them and, switch places, let them do it for half of the service, teach them how to do it, watch them do it, that kind of thing, until they're comfortable to do it on their own. Anyway, I'm kind of getting deep in the weeds. But my point was, have a content strategy, have a social media strategy. And this kind of goes for the whole ministry. So at our church, it's not just a social media team, it's the production ministry, and the social media team is within that. So basically what I'm saying is have a overall strategy, a vision, a purpose, a written document and structure for your creative ministry, whatever it's called at your church. And this goes across the board. You should have these for all of your ministries, and that's something that we're currently working on at my church, is getting systems and structures in place that will support the mission and the vision. So that's one of my goals for this year, is to improve our social media content strategy and make sure that we're tapping into all points of our mission when we're posting on our social media. So our church's mission is threefold: encounter, connect, and become. Encounter God, connect to community, and become a disciple of Christ, become a disciple maker, become everything God's called you to be, that kind of thing. And right now on our social media, I think we accomplish encounter very well. We're using mostly content from our Sunday services that I'm able to post pretty much 6 days a week on a normal week. And that's preaching reels, moments in the service, worship reels, spontaneous worship moments that happen, that kind of thing. And I really think that accomplishes the encounter part of our mission. But one thing that I'm wanting to add this year is making sure that we're showcasing our connect and become parts of the mission, that we're showing connecting to community more, content that connects on a personal level, and that we have content that's more of that become content, which to me is like teaching. It's practical, it's more like applicable to real life. You're taking the spiritual and making it applicable to someone's daily life. It could be things like devotionals or sit down videos that feel like more of a conversation, day-to-day moments, that kind of thing that builds that connect and become style of content. So that's something that I'm currently working on implementing this year. So when I sat down with Pastor and had this meeting about this year's strategy, I included that as one of our goals and made sure that he was okay and on board with the vision and a little bit of that change in direction of our social media. But there's something to me, and this is like the main point of this video, is that once you write all of that out, it really gives you it like inspires you with more ideas when you finally write them all out. Like, I can have ideas in my head, and I'm very much like an internal thinker. So I can have ideas and this is our strategy and I plan to post 6 days a week, that kind of thing. But if I never write all of that down, I may be missing some ideas and some inspiration that could come from me writing it out and making a plan. So I just hop in Canva, use a random template, and be able to structure it, make it look organized, and get those ideas out. And I think that's kind of part of like this week in our Healthy Home series at church, we're talking about decluttering. And I think that being able to take that time to almost journal, but it's more structured. You're creating a presentation, you're creating a document. It basically declutters your mind. And that's kind of what I'm discovering is when you really write stuff out and you take time to like dump your brain, you realize that you had ideas up there. While writing, you were inspired by an idea and you kind of realized, oh, this is some things that I really would love to do on our social media this year, but you're not actively thinking about those things until you declutter your mind. And I think that that's something that's so important, is just taking that time to not just assume that your brain has the ideas, but to dump the ideas out, to declutter your mind and make space for inspiration, make space for new ideas. And that's just something that I've been noticing recently, especially with us talking about it with Healthy Homes. But then doing that this past week when I met with my pastor, is I realized like, oh, I have some structure for this year, and it kind of encouraged me that I have some ideas. I have some new things I can try, and I'm already excited for this Sunday to try some of the content ideas that we discussed in the meeting and see how they start reaching people on our social media. So you might be in a place where maybe you're feeling a little bit discouraged, or maybe you're just like in a stagnant place where everything has just kind of felt the same. Take some time, sit down and just type out some stuff, write out some stuff, whatever form you like better. I'm a computer person. I like to type things out. But just take some time and get some ideas out. Just write out your current structure. If you can't think of any ideas in the moment, just write out what you currently do. What kind of posts do you currently use on your social media? What part of your church's mission do they accomplish? And what else can you add to make sure that you're reaching in the best way possible, like accomplishing your church's mission and vision to the best of your ability? And you'll be surprised at how much this might unlock some really creative ideas and some direction for your social media for 2025. One of my goals that I want to add in for this year is to post every day of the week. We're already currently posting 6 days a week on a normal week, and I just want to bump that up to post every single day. And I think this is achievable because I've been able to sustain posting 6 days a week for several months now. So once you have that goal, what's cool is you get to think about, okay, how do I accomplish these goals? And you instantly need to move from writing them all out, getting them approved, sitting down with your leadership, talking about them. And then you need to move from there straight to action. How do I implement? So that's one thing that I'm going into this next Sunday, immediately following our meeting, thinking about, okay, I need to get just a little bit more content today and make sure I communicate that with our team, because we're going to start posting 7 days a week. So that means we're going to need to have one more extra post from Sunday or from Wednesday. Or we can start implementing our new content ideas of filming different people throughout the week for Connect and Become content. So that's instantly accomplishing one of the goals that I've already set up, is I want to post 7 days a week. Let's implement that immediately. Anyway, this was just a super practical video, and I thought this might be super useful for somebody, because I know this is kind of where I'm at recently, so that's what I'm talking about, obviously, because it's on my mind. But I just think it's important to have a content strategy, to have something written that you're basing off of, that is the purpose, the structure, and the system of your church's social media and of your creative ministry. Hopefully this inspires you. I hope that you are able to get some ideas from this video to be able to make this your own, to be able to go and kind of change this up based on your church and accomplish more with your church's social media this year. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to check out some of the other church social media videos on my channel. Oh, that was great. I just spilled that all over myself. Well, just be that way sometimes. At least I wore a dark colored shirt. Orange juice will just blend in, right? Am I a vlogger now? Does this make me a car vlogger? Beats being a jogger vlogger. I mean, the little tripod wasn't bad. Wonder how shaky this is gonna look.